We did anal, and were pretty loud. Ass slapping, heavy moaning loud. Today I fucked up on Reddit Rundown. We've got some interesting stories for you today. Today I fucked up by loudly going at it with my girlfriend while my mother-in-law was at home. So, this actually did happen today, about an hour ago. For a bit of context, due to personal circumstances I, 27 male, have recently moved in with my mother-in-law, and girlfriend, 27 female, of 4 years, and we are all sharing a flat. With that out of the way, buckle in. Today we decided to go at it. My mother-in-law was going out for lunch, and it seemed like the perfect opportunity, as our rooms are pretty close and it's hard to have some intimacy otherwise. We knew she was away because her room was open and no one was in, so we decided to take the chance and experiment a bit. We did anal and were pretty loud. Ass slapping, heavy moaning loud. I am usually quiet, but even I decided to let go and was pretty loud during the whole thing. After the deed was done, we decided to shower together while we commented on it. We like to state which things we liked and even crack some jokes, so that's what we did. We were, once again, pretty explicit and loud, to the point she kind of yelled at me, while standing in front of my mother-in-law's room. I had come like a garden hose, because fuck it all, we were having a laugh and alone after all. After coming out of the shower, I saw my mother-in-law's room was closed, which kind of alarmed me, but I thought it was my girlfriend's doing. So, I jokingly and loudly asked her, "Have you checked if your mother is home?" Can you imagine if she was? My girlfriend darts out of the room and comes back pale as a ghost. Her mother-in-law was in her room. Which, mind you, is across the bathroom and frigging beside ours. When did she come back? Was it while we were loudly fucking? Was it during the shower? Was she always there? We do not know, and that makes it all the worse. Today I fucked up by surprising my wife with a sex toy. Obligatory. This happened 3 months ago. Our anniversary's coming up, and knowing that my wife came from a conservative family, it was only when we got married that she discovered sex toys. She had the chance to explore her body, and since she enjoyed it, I decided to surprise her with a sex toy, a motor bunny. So, I purchased one and have it delivered to our house. My mother-in-law was living with us to help take care of our 1-year-old child BTW, and here's the TIFU part. My wife got home from the grocery store and lo and behold, she saw our child riding on what seemed to look like a saddle. Turns out, my mill opened the package and thought it was some sort of a rocking horse. My mother-in-law even attached a rope to act as a handle to the saddle, because the toy has eyelets on it, and my wife, confused, checked the other boxes and found dildos. Only at that moment she realized that it's a sex toy and immediately returned everything to its box and called me. She was mad I almost ruined our anniversary, and the only saving grace was her loving the toy when we tried it that night. We also told her mom not to open our packages again. And yes, we bought a real rocking horse for our child. Today I fucked up by visiting Auschwitz while ill-informed. A few years ago, my uncle invited my friend and myself along to a trip to Poland. He was planning on visiting Auschwitz I and Auschwitz-Birkenau. I said yes, because I felt it was important for me to learn about the details of what went on. I was still quite young and had only learned more general information about the war and the camps, never really bothered to do my own research. You know how it goes. Let me set the scene a little here. The morning of had arrived and we were all ready to go. I was unsure of the weather. It was hot and humid, but it would likely rain later and cool down quite a bit. My friend looks at me and goes, "Are you going to wear that?" And I say yes, thinking that this shirt is probably warm enough in case it does get colder, so I won't even need to bring a jacket. Alright then, off we go. We get to the first camp and the tour begins. It was fascinating and horrifying, but I suppose that is to be expected. As our group makes its way through the camp, I'm surprised by how much information is completely new to me, and how much worse it is than I'd initially learned. At some point we go into the building where they show the suitcases, shoes, hair, things like that. I think we're about half an hour, maybe more, into the tour, which would take a few hours total. I stay close by the tour guide so that I can hear him better. The guide then leads us into the room where they showcase the prisoner uniforms. It was at this point that I realized I fucked up. I'm standing next to the tour guide in the prisoner uniforms, absolutely mortified. The shirt I was wearing looked exactly like the prisoner uniforms. I had no idea that that was what my friend tried to warn me about. With bleached blonde hair and blue eyes to boot. When we get outside, I ask why no one said anything before we left. My friend said she did, so she figured I knew and was trying to make some statement. Hadn't I ever seen the boy in the striped pajamas? I hadn't. Nor any other type of media that showed the uniforms or other details of prisoner life. Somehow, I managed 18 or so years avoiding this specific detail that would come back to bite me. I was stuck looking like an uber asshole for the rest of the day. Today I fucked up by opening up to my wife. I had been having a few rough days emotionally. Busy, stressed out, just feeling down and out. This is really not normal for me and I'm not good with bottling things up, so while laying in bed with my wife 2 nights ago, I rolled over and put my arm around her. She had her earbuds in and was watching show on her phone, and I asked, "Can we skip burying our faces in our phones tonight?" And she kind of just stared at me for a few seconds and said, "I'll take a rain check." This kind of hurt, so I rolled over and went to bed upset. Woke up the next morning still grumpy, and my actions made it obvious. Later in the day after dinner, she asked what was wrong. The kids had all left the house to go outside and play, and I decided to open up to her and express how I was feeling. I told her she really hurt me by blowing me off last night. Her response was, "Just for one night, I told you I'd take a rain check." To back up, take a rain check was her typical response to not being in the mood for sex. Job, life, everything, is pretty stressful for her, and she's not the type of woman who can just tuck that away on the flip of switch to become intimate. This is her way of telling me that she just can't get into it tonight, but she'll make the mental preparations so that she's ready the next day. And that's usually the case, works well for us, happens all the time. So, I get into telling her, and this is pretty much word for word. "Listen, I didn't want to F you. I didn't want you to blow me. I just wanted to talk to you and have an adult conversation," to which there was a reply. From down the hall. From my 12-year-old son, "Guys. I'm here. In the bathroom. Today I fucked up by improperly ending a fast." Trigger warning, poop story. I suppose the TIFU was 2 days ago, but just a few minutes ago the horrible consequences were suffered. Everything started out so beautifully. I've been doing a keto diet for a while to great success. I am down like 70 pounds. My wife is in remission from cancer, which is part of the reason we're on keto, and her doctors explained adding fasting to autophagy to help her body fight off recurring cancers. I read up on the effects of autophagy and was all in to do it with her. In short, you water fast for 3 to 4 days and it brings all kinds of health and mental benefits. I did it, and it was fantastic. Let me tell you, though, that I was really looking forward to breaking this fast after day 3. Day 4 arrives and I break my fast. I have a nice keto breakfast of cheese omelet and sausage. I have a glorious lunch of taco bowl, and an amazing dinner of keto enchiladas. The next day, I am crushing it with amazing keto foods too. So much good. I realize, though, at the end of that day, yesterday, that I haven't pooped since day 2 of the fast. It's been 4 days now, and 2 full days of eating with no poo. Odd. Today comes and I continue to eat my normal keto foods. I'm feeling great. I'm deep into ketosis, and getting all of the energy and mental benefits. Still no poo. About 3 hours ago I start to feel the heaviness of a poo coming. I try, but nothing comes out. The discomfort continues to grow until just a little bit ago, I figure I better force the issue. I go sit down with phone ready to wait out the event. I press and press until I start to feel movement. All of a sudden, it stops up against my butthole. I push hard, and my head almost explodes with the pain. I felt like I imagined being fisted for the first time feels like. My holy hell, it hurts. Badly. So very badly. It's super solid and my butthole is kind of wedged open by it. I try to relax and pinch it off, but it won't. I have no other option but to push with everything I have to get it out. It literally brings me to tears. After it passes, I clean up. Blood. Quite a bit of blood. I wipe again and more blood. I have to apply pressure for a while before it stops. My butthole is super hurt now. I get up and look down. This thing is fucking enormous. Without exaggeration, it's like 4 inches in diameter and like 2 feet long. I've never shit so large, and would have refused to accept that something so massive could pass my butthole. My instinct is to flush, but it's so large it won't pass down. I have to use the plunger to break it up. At the end, I'm shocked and exhausted by the ordeal. I start wondering what the fuck just happened? I look it up, and only just now realize that you should break a long fast with some bone broth to wake up your digestive system. I loaded mine with protein and fats that turned into hard as steel poo, and because my system wasn't woke yet, it just sat there and collected into the behemoth I just passed. Thanks for listening to Reddit Rundown. Give a thumbs up and subscribe, and help me get to 1,000 subs. Leave a comment below on what kind of topics or stories you would like to hear. You can also check out other videos on my channel. Thanks and have an awesome day.